Good afternoon, everyone. Today we will be talking about the fifth unit of corporate governance and business ethics, which titled it as corporate governance, which is titled it as corporate governance. So when we are talking about corporate governance, it is very important to understand what exactly we mean by corporate governance, as well as it is important to understand why corporate governance is playing an important role for all the organizations, as well as why it is important to study about it. Before talking about corporate governance, let's talk about the word governance. When we talk about governance, governance is derived from a Latin word which means to stir. It is derived from the word governere, which means to stir. It is basically applicable for the ship. When we are talking about ship, we are basically talking about the steerings of the ship, which helps in giving the direction to the ship, and it helps the ship to move in the right control. When we are talking about corporate governance also talks about the directions, giving the corporates right kind of directions rather than controlling the corporate. So that is a basic role of governance when we talk about it. Governance, whenever we talk about it, governance not talk about only the giving the direction. It talks about the giving the direction in a proper and a systematic manner by deriving right kind of rules, right kind of policies, right kind of procedures, so that the corporate behavior, the most difficult behavior and the most important behavior for the corporate, can be channelized in a proper and an effective manner. When we are talking about it, it is very important that the organization get right kind of direction. Like whatever rules they are making, the rules should be followed by the employees of the organization, because employees are the ones who are working for the organization, and it is important for them to work according to a proper system and according to a proper channel. When we are talking about the corporate basically again derived from a Latin word which means body which is comprised of different people together. Now, before talking about corporate governance is something which is something not new to the world. It has existed from the ages, but the name of corporate governance has been emerged in the recent times. When we are talking about it, let's go back and let's listen to the time when corporate governance, or when governance was there. It is existing since the time of Chanakya. When we go back and relate to it, he was called as management guru. He is one of the most renowned or most intelligent person. Why I am talking about a management guru, or why I am talking about his management? Earlier days, when we talk about it, there were kings who were ruling the kingdoms. They were the kings, they were good kings and bad kings. Chanakya, when we are talking about, he had laid down 4 rules to the kings, or you can say 4 suggestions to the kings for conducting a good relationship, to rule in the kingdom properly, or a good healthy relationship between the audience as well as between the king. When it comes to that, he said that you need to always protect your people. You always need to see that your people are enhancing their wealth. You always need to maintain that wealth, as well as it's a duty of a king to safeguard the kingdom. I think if you talk to the old ancient movies, you will be seeing that all the kings are always protecting their kingdom. So that these are the 4 basic rules, or these are the 4 basic things which was taught by Chanakya to the king, that you should be doing this. Now, how it is related to the present corporate world? Now the kings have been converted into the CEOs and board of directors of the company. The role of CEOs and board of directors of the company is protecting the shareholders, protecting the shareholders' wealth, protecting the shareholders' interest. That is a rule, or that is the main core concept of corporate governance, that you need to protect your shareholders, you need to protect the wealth of your shareholders. Second thing what corporate governance talks about is enhancing. It's not only about protecting the wealth of the shareholders, you need to have a proper utilization of your assets. Whatever assets are there, whatever assets you are having, you need to have a proper utilization of that. Next comes to maintenance. One time you are protecting and the other time you are not protecting, that will not considered as a good corporate governance, or that will not be considered as a good governance. You need to protect as well as you need to maintain. It should be a consistency of maintaining the wealth of your shareholders. You should be giving them right kind of profits. You should be giving them a good amount of profits. And in the last, you should always be doing the activities in the interest of your shareholders. Your shareholders should not be getting affected, or your shareholders should not be getting less profits by your actions, by your decisions. You should always keep your shareholders first. And that is the base of a corporate governance. Corporate governance also talks about protecting the shareholders, protecting the interest of the shareholders, so that the shareholders have a faith on the company, and so that the interest of the shareholders is not put on stick. That is a basic concept of corporate governance. Every company, when we talk about it, this is how the company runs, and this is how the system of the company. When it comes to corporate governance, I have three key you can say there are three key ingredients, and there are three key important elements of every company. That is management, board of directors, and owners. Owners are the shareholders. Shareholders appoint board of directors, and board of directors are the ones who look after the interest of the shareholders or the owners of the company. Whereas management of the company make it sure their suppliers, the public, and the customers are happy from whatever actions and whatever products and services they are giving to their customers. So this is how the whole corporate governance structure, or this is how all the key elements are there when we talk about the corporate world. Thank you so much. In our next video, we will be talking in detail about the corporate governance.